Hello friends, and welcome back. When we last left off, I was in a rainy car in Oregon, and so I thought I would just keep everybody updated on life and what we've had going on in the past month. In the beginning of November, we got to this beautiful campground in Oregon that was a national forest campground that we stayed at that had some of the most magical mushrooms and mycelium that I have ever witnessed. Just walking within this park, everywhere you looked, there was some type of mushroom. And it was so green and beautiful. It honestly reminded me of a rainforest. In fact, when we got to the camping spot, there was a giant lion's mane right at the spot. And it happens to be my favorite mushroom, so I picked it and we ate it. I made friends with amphibians and nature and spent a lot of time down here by the river reflecting and just enjoying the beautiful autumn. We then made our way south to California, where we like to stay either in national forest land, or we like to do something called dispersed camping, where we're staying at places that have no services, meaning no water and no bathroom, and just a place to park, which is what you see here. This was about 30 minutes south of Mount Shasta, and we stayed here for 2 weeks in this beautiful valley right on the lake, and Moose really enjoyed sitting out here every day and watching the traffic on the highway go by, ironically. But you could see so much from this little valley, and you could see the wildfires that were going on around us, and it was just this magical little place that it took us about 15 minutes down a windy road to get here, so it was very peaceful and quiet. There was only a few other people there the whole time, which is honestly the way we like to travel. We like to stay out in quiet places and like to enjoy nature. And speaking of nature, we went up to Mount Shasta twice to just walk on her and explore and just really feel the sacred energy in this place. It was not a place I ever thought I would be going to, and to be able to go was really a magical experience, to explore in the woods with all of us. If you don't get out in the woods, friends, please do so. We just enjoyed the sun, and something else magical happened. We actually found a giant reishi mushroom that was just sitting on the side of a dead tree. Here it is. She was beautiful, and so we took a piece of her, and we actually are turning her into some tincture, because if you know me, you know I love making medicine from this earth. We got rain one day, and that one day we got rain, we had 2 beautiful rainbows come out. The contrast between the pouring rain on one side of us and the rainbows around us was just something that we so rarely get to experience, that we all just got outside and we played in the sun and the rain. You can see it's just the fall colors with the contrast of the rainbow. It was absolutely beautiful, and me and Ellie certainly enjoyed spending some time. Now, I don't know if everyone knows this about us, but as a family, one of the things we really enjoy doing together is cooking. And since we've been on the road, we also really enjoy open fire cooking, meaning we like to just cook on open fire. And on this night, we decided to make some naan. We had made some type of rice and beans for dinner, since we eat those a lot, and we decided to make naan. So Azriel made a sourdough bread and rolled it out, and we then cooked it over an open fire, which was it's really magical. We try to do this at least once every few weeks, just really spending our time intentionally together as a family. And Robbie absolutely loves flipping all of the naan, and so it It's a great time. Ellie will read her book by the fire. Robbie will make the naan, and we just enjoy the beauty that is around us. The moon was almost full that night too, so you didn't really need any light. But when we're outside at night, I love lighting my candles. And as you can see, it turned out delicious. So the last thing I want to do before we go for this month is I would like to show you one of our favorite meals and get back to something that I really enjoy doing, which is sharing the food that we make and the meals that we have. I will leave my recipe for this down in the description box, but for now, I just thought I would show you me making a lentil loaf for my family on this rainy, magical day. When it comes to lentil loaf, for some reason, I love myself some frozen peas. And so to cook peas, I simply just fill a pot up with water, put a lid on it, and just let it simmer while the rest of the food cooks. Every time I decide to cook a meal, every night, I always sharpen my knife first. If you don't have a knife sharpener, friends, get one. It's a lifesaver. It makes life much easier. But for me, cooking has always been such a stress-relieving task, but it also just brings me such joy to be able to cook nutritious food for those that I love. And so I like to take the time every day to do that. When I make lentil loaf, what I do is I cook the lentils for about a half hour, 20 minutes in the Instapot. You don't have to have an Instapot to do it. You can always do it on a stovetop for about 30-35 minutes. Works the same way. And then I will cook those until they are soft. I like a little bit of a bite to them because we're going to cook them a little more. And then I will add salt, pepper, eggs, a little bit of flour, and some breadcrumbs. On this day, I didn't happen to have any breadcrumbs, but we had some old bread, and so I just chopped up the bread into large chunks and put that into the lentil loaf in replacement of breadcrumbs. I will also then add fresh veggies. This time I did celery and carrots and a shallot. Sometimes I will do onions and peppers. It really all depends on the flavor profile that we're going with and what I really want it to taste like. But the key here is you have the cooked lentils and then you have the fresh diced veggies that all get mixed in together. And by doing that, when you bake it in the oven, you have different textures and it's not just a pot full of mush. I found a recipe for this years ago and I really just end up doing my own every time. So every time's a little bit different. But when I'm done, I put it into my Dutch oven and then I tamp it down because I want to make sure that it ends up being solid. So then once I get it in the oven and it comes out in a loaf. This was a large batch that I did. I sometimes will do it just in a regular loaf pan, but the loaf pan was busy baking some bread. We just throw it in the oven at 350, 375 and let it bake for about 45 minutes. Serve it with some mashed potatoes and peas, and it is absolutely delicious. One other thing I love doing with all of our meals is I love sprinkling a little of this 7 Seas seaweed on top. It just adds that extra nutrients to everything, and that's how I enjoy eating my food. And that's it. That's what we've been up to. We are moving south again for the winter, and when I catch you up next month, I will show you what we've been up to. I hope you enjoy watching what we've been up to, and we will see you next month. Bye.